Diane? Lisa's going to be late, and so she wanted me, or someone to start the meeting, so it falls on me. I've been... All right. Okay, good evening. It is 4:30, and we're going to start this meeting. I will go ahead and give roll call. Tom Chapa, I am here. Lisa Glidden. Dave Crisafulli.
Here.
Jim McKenzie.
Here.
Pam Dowd.
Here.
Sean Onmacht.
Here.
And if we could rise to do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And there is a need to move to executive session, so if I could have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And, okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We move to exec.
Okay, so good evening. We had a motion and second to adjourn executive, so we'll come back into the regular meeting. At this point, I will entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add a board resolution regarding a student conduct hearing under Board of Education, item 6.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. Second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Okay, thank you. What's that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we'll move on with floor to the public. Jill?
Hello, Dr. Glidden and the rest of the board and everybody else here tonight. My name's Jill Pippin. I have a daughter who is a graduating senior this year, and I've come tonight because I wanted to talk a little bit and just raise something for consideration and perhaps follow up. Evidently, the history of the Oswego High School senior classes pre-COVID has been to go on a senior trip. They often went to Disney World or what have you. This has been canceled this year. There's no trip to Disney World due to the massive uptick in prices there, as well as other reasons, I'm sure. But what is happening instead is that the senior trip is going to be a day at Seabreeze in Rochester. This is the same location that the same kids have gone to 2 other times, in 6th grade and in 8th grade. And if any of you have been to Seabreeze, you realize that it's kind of a junior amusement park. So I've inquired about this of others, not just my daughter, but also of other seniors, other parents, and I believe that there is the will and the interest for them to be able to go and do something bigger. I personally did not have the opportunity to have a senior trip, and I've always regretted this. My parents had one way back in the 60s, and they continue to talk about their trip. And I think it's a defining moment. It's one of those things you remember by experiencing with your class. And it would be wonderful for all of them to participate in it. There was some fundraising done for the class pre-pandemic, I know this, but I also know that they don't have the money to go to Disney World either, right? Because they haven't been able to fundraise otherwise. But my hope is that further discussion can be had regarding bringing students a more exciting and different senior class experience. And, you know, like I said, there are other locations such as Cedar Point and Sandusky, that's 6.5 hours away. Hershey Park is 4.5 hours away. You could even go down and back, but otherwise they have hotels very similar to Disney in which you could have them in a place that is secure and has packages for meals and so on. And then if there's a need for benefit or fundraising, then perhaps everybody can come together to try to help make that possible for those of lesser financial means. Yeah, without this, I fear that our seniors are not going to attend Seabreeze. In fact, I've heard from a number of them. They're definitely not going because they've been there. It's a smaller park. And, or those students who do have the means will go on a trip on their own, and it will become the in crowd, the ones who have the money, who go to Cedar Point or go to Hershey, and a smaller group will go and have this experience. So I'd love to be able to work on this if I can be of assistance, but my understanding is that this hasn't been allowed to happen based on some decisions that were made previously. Perhaps this can be reconsidered. Thank you.
Thank you. Peggy Kane?
Hello. Unfortunately, mine's going to be a little bit heavier. Sorry, my concerns. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and everything, of course, resident, here in the county. And I'm very concerned about our schools, like I'm sure that a lot of people are. Our nation has seen actions of violence and chaos since the COVID shutdown. CRT and gender identity preference has increased the violence. When there was mid-racial tension before, these hate crime laws have only fueled the division. Children have not been able to escape all this conflict in school as it's all around us, TV, radio, etc. There's been no restrictions to provide a safe environment for our children in the schools, in the sense where it's not being tried, but I don't believe that we've found the answer yet of how to protect our children from all of this stuff that's going around us. It seems like social political education has replaced good, solid academic education. Our kids are targeted if they don't agree with the new social norm. All the fights and the violence and everything in school, you read about it in the paper almost every day. We need to discipline, and I'm sure that you do, but we need to discipline in a way that deters children from acting out, this way with all the hate and the gang stuff and everything that goes on. We need to teach our children the value of respect for one another, even if they look at things differently. God knows they aren't seeing it from our government, and they need to be encouraged to make a difference, to be the example. That hatred and violence can be overcome, not by laws, but by respect. Encourage them to set their academic goals high, and most important, teach them and grade them as they should be graded. Teachers have a lot to face in school now, and parents are not the enemy. Our concern is for the welfare of our children, and I think those were the goals of our teachers when they went to college and decided that this was the direction they wanted to take. So please, let's work together and try to make this a safer environment for our kids, not having to worry. You can just leave politics out when you go to school and everything, and just be there to learn, to do the best that you can do, and to enjoy, good, safe friendships and, growth, and whether it be sports or acting or whatever. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I don't know if this was crossed out or if this is your signature. Stephanie? Sandy. Oh, Sandy I saw is crossed out. Or do you want to stay crossed out? Okay. What about Steph? Oh, you do. Okay, come on in.
I'm Sandy Miller. I'm a grandma of children in the district, and I had 4 kids in this district. And I'm a school bus driver who drives for Fulton, but had to race all the way down here to get here at 5 o'clock. I don't understand that. I don't know. The parents, my kids, they can't possibly get here at 5 o'clock, and they're the ones that need it. So I wish that could be changed to accommodate the parents better. And so I didn't have much, I didn't think I was going to speak, so I won't say much, but my granddaughter, 2nd grade in Minetto, has been injured. She's in an inclusion class, I think it is. She has this child that disrupts their class just about every day, and most of the time the whole class has to leave so they can deal and go to another class so they can deal with this one child in the room. They're missing out on so much. You all know it's ridiculous. I mean, come on. And if you haven't heard about it, you need to be really getting into this, because this is crazy. And my granddaughter, he runs and hops over the desk. He slammed his desk into hers, and she had a bruise on her leg. And her parents have been to the doctor, to the superintendent, and the principal, who says, well, the home life is bad. Well, my son-in-law said, I can understand that, but something's got to be done. Education, that's what we're here for. There's got to be a place for children like that are disrupting and even hurting the aides. What's he going to do to a 7-year-old in the class? So I don't know what's going on, but please look into this. I'll be back maybe next month. I wish it was at 7 o'clock, but think about that. Accommodate the parents. Thank you.
I neglected to read the rules for our public comment. So you have 3 minutes, and that's what the alarm was. So good timing. You came in just under. So we'll listen to comments and input, and you can also send it directly to our board clerk. So we don't generally address personnel or individual student matters in open session, and we don't, sorry, I'm just going off the top of my head. So we listen to comments and input, but don't necessarily debate or discuss items. Operational matters will be directed to the school administration for handling. Any written correspondence or letters can be directed to the board clerk, and we expect proper decorum at all times. So I apologize for not reading that at the beginning. Is Stephanie? You're not, okay, so you were crossed out. Sandy?
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, very good. Hello, everybody. Today, I'd like to share some concerns as a mother. About 10 days ago, I saw a video showing two girls who were fighting in the hallway at our high school, and one girl fell on the floor. This was not the first time I saw this kind of video. It's very disturbing. Recently, I interviewed a few school students, and they all said the fighting is very common. The average is one fight 1 week since they returned to school from COVID lockdown. Perhaps the mask and the lockdown affect these kids very negatively in terms of their mental health. A second issue is drug use. They also mentioned some children used to smoke marijuana secretly in the bathroom, but now they openly smoke there in a circle. Nobody see anything or do anything about it. My question here for you is, when are you going to do something to stop that? Take some action to stop that. We want our school to be safe. Many families put their kids out of public school to do homeschoolings. If there's no change or improvement, school will lose more students and state funding. That's a reality. We must fix it. I come here as often as I can. I hear you talk about money so much, either how to get money or how to spend the money. I hardly heard anything about our children's education. If we don't talk about it, how can we improve that? Sad to see New York lowering the minimum test score for students' proficiency in math and English again. That's a shame. I don't think we have a money problem. We need to focus on education. We have many sports programs. How about have some academic program to challenge students to reach their higher potentials? Our school has $22 million sitting in the saving account. Why do our school kids have to wait to be 8th grader to learn a second language, but other neighboring school district students start learn second language at the 7th grade? We all know it's good to learn a new language, and the earlier, the better. It helps young students to open their mind and to brighten their future. I was born and grown up in China. Our school was very, very poor. No heat in winter and no air conditioning in summer. But we started to learn English at a 6th grader in China. Later, I became a school teacher there for 7 years. Some of my students came from families in very deep poverty, but they have very good attitude and worked very hard because they realized that good education will change their life for a better life. School is a place for students to pursue knowledge and to seek the truth. We need to prepare them for the future. Internationally, we all know Americas have competitors. When we raise strong and smart children, our nation will be strong. They
Just 10
deserve
seconds left.
our heart and attention. We are all looking forward to find a good superintendent this time. Hope she or he will put the students' education at a top priority and have a commitment to serve in our community.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let's all work together to make Oswego the top-rated school it once was. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bill?
Thank you and good evening. On the Oswego Board of Education online policy manual, there is a very nice and thorough section on parent involvement. written in 2011. It was revised last summer. I want to ask here, though, if there is a significant area where parents are not involved. Specifically, do the high school and the middle school teachers and/or administrators engage in discussions with students on gender dysphoria issues and aid them in transitioning at school, both without parent knowledge or participation, if the student requests confidentiality? Further, do the schools give presentations on LGBTQ topics, again without prior parent knowledge and the ability to opt out? And do parents as a whole in the district know that this policy of intentionally restricting parent knowledge has been taking place in our schools? Parents currently have authority in the education system here. They elect school board members and approve or disapprove of the budget. They also have the legal right to remove their children from the public schools and enroll them in private schools, charter schools, online schools, or in their own home school. In any of those, the parents would not be cut out of their children's lives by public school administrators and teachers, and ultimately by the superintendent and the school board. Where then do you and these employees gain such rights over the parents, circumventing your own policy manual on parent involvement? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, our next item of business under the Board of Education is a board resolution, and I'm going to read just the final two whereases and the therefore clause for our vote. So can I have a motion for the board resolution regarding a student conduct hearing?
Move
To
the
move it
motion,
for discussion.
please.
Thank you, Pam. Second?
I'll second it.
So whereas an appeal of the decision of the superintendent of schools regarding student discipline was made to the Board of Education by letter received February 23rd, 2023, in accordance with Section 3214 of the New York Education Law and the Code of Conduct, and whereas the Board of Education met on March 21st, 2023, and April 11th, 2023, to review the record of the hearing and make its decision solely upon the record before it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the disciplinary action imposed by the superintendent of schools is upheld and the appeal is denied in full. Any discussion on? So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Sorry? Oh, sorry. I skipped right over you. Superintendent's report. I'm so sorry, Jeff.
Well, I've only been here a week, so it's easy to, it'll be brief, I promise. But first, I just had a couple of reminders for everybody here and for anybody who's watching at home that all schools will run on a half-day schedule this Thursday for parent-teacher conferencing, and then on Friday, the elementary buildings will have an additional half a day for parent-teacher conferencing again. It's Spirit Week this week, which is why I put on my Buccaneer and wore blue. The high school will hold a pep rally for spring sports on Thursday morning, and Fitzhugh Elementary will hold a career day this Friday morning, which I've been asked to attend. I would imagine that most elementary students don't aspire to be interim superintendents, but maybe I can change that with my visit. And lastly, I wanted to mention that Oswego Middle School will present the musical Once Upon a Mattress performance. Performances will be held Friday evening and Saturday evening right here at Oswego High School Theater. Encourage everybody in the community to come see. They're great work. Very briefly, I had a couple of quick updates. As you know, we started Monday with an outage at Oswego Middle School. Specifically, the internet was down and classroom phone lines were also down. We did have phone service in the main office, the nurse's office, and the counseling office. However, in some areas of the building, we did not have strong cell service. Amanda Caldwell and I started our day at OMS and worked very closely with Mary Beth Fierro to troubleshoot and work with Jamie Sykett, to solve the problem as soon as possible. While we waited for Jamie to locate the part that was needed, we instituted a safety monitor procedure where available staff and some substitutes were utilized to man each hallway with two-way radios so that the communication between the classroom and the various offices could continue and that classrooms would remain safe. Jamie was able to locate the part thanks to our neighbors at Hannibal Central School District. And the part was actually delivered by Hannibal here and installed, and all phone lines were back in operation by 10:45. And the internet service was restored shortly thereafter. I wanted to quickly thank Amanda, Mary Beth Fierro, Jamie Sykett, and Tom Gunn for all helping me work through the situation on my first day with students and avoid an early dismissal. Mostly, I want to thank the students, staff, and faculty at OMS for doing their best in a tricky situation. Classroom lessons without technology are rare these days, so it required all involved to demonstrate great flexibility. I also appreciate the faculty's focus on student safety and communicating with us regarding areas of the building where cell service was unavailable. So that's an update on that. The last piece is I just wanted to thank everyone for such a warm welcome to the Oswego community and making me feel welcome. I especially want to thank all the faculty members and staff members who have had the opportunity to meet so far, and I will continue to meet every day with more of them. I also want to thank the administrators and staff that work in the educational facility, the district office, as I call it, for all of their support as I learn my way through here. And I have one last thank you, and that's to the physical education teacher whose name also happens to be Jeff Gordon, because he's been receiving a whole bunch of emails and been kind enough to forward them to me, and I haven't had the chance to meet him yet, but I appreciate him being a good sport, no pun intended, for sending those forward, as he has the Jeff Gordon email, so I feel bad for him, but I wanted to thank him. At this time, I wanted to turn over the presentation to Nancy Squares, Executive Director of Business and Finance, to share some information regarding the development of the 2023-24 school budget.
Thank you. Next slide. As you know, as we've gone through the budget process, our goals remain the same, that the budget be fiscally sound, flexible, foolproof, flowing, and aligned with our strategic plan. Next one. So the preliminary revenue is showing property taxes with an increase of $383,890 to the levy. Pilots are showing a $0 increase. State aid is showing a $6.6 million increase. Building aid on an emergency project is showing a decrease of $2.8 million. If you recall, that was due to the soil remediation project where we did receive state aid on it. Other revenue is projected to increase $300,000 for a total budget increase of $4,458,586, making our preliminary revenue $103,332,823. Appropriated budget is a summary of all of the presentations that have been done throughout the budgeting season. Salaries are projected to go up $1.2 million. Equipment is projected to go up $239,000. Supplies are projected to go up almost $300,000. Contractual is proposed to go up $664,000. BOCES is projected to go up $2 million, and the majority of BOCES is their administrative fee, which we have to pay per our WADA every year. We're one of the largest districts, as well as Central Square, so we have the largest part of that pot. Principal and interest is projected to go up $2.9 million. That is also including a one-time principal payment to make sure that we do not have a negative tax cap. Benefits are projected to go up $1.5 million, and the interfund transfers are projected to decrease by $2.8 million, so that our appropriated budget is projected to go up $6,171,847 from the previous year, and the proposed appropriated budget is 103,332,823, which equals our revenue. Our three-part component budget that we have to show in our budget newsletter shows the administrative budget is up $978,882. Our capital budget is projected to go up $792,587. And our program budget, which is the largest piece of our entire budget, is $4,400,379 increase over the previous current year's budget. Next one, Matt. So as you can see by this graph, it is a visual of the three-part component budget showing the administrative, capital, and program pieces as a percentage of that total pie. This was the slide that had appeared in two of the last two presentations that we've done on the tax cap. We have had a 0% increase in the tax levy for the last 3 years in order to make sure that we do not have a negative tax cap going into future years and to have the revenue sustained. We are had a plan done by fiscal advisors, and they are have projected, instead of a 2% increase on our tax levy, we could do with a 1.44% increase in our tax levy, which would generate $383,891. This is a visual of where our tax levy has been. We have the two spikes in that bar chart which show the nuclear power when they came back online. And as you can see, our tax levy has been decreasing. And next year, it's just going to have a very minor blip. So next steps. We're still waiting on the legislative budget. It is now past due. We thought it might be in by now, but it doesn't seem like there's any movement. On the 26th, the school board petitions are due. As you know, we have 4 open seats, 3 for 3-year terms, and 1 for a 2-year term. Our public hearing is on May the 2nd. On May the 10th, our budget notice will be mailed. And on May 16th, we will have our annual budget vote, which brings us to our polling sites. District 1 is Ward 10, and that is at the Scriber Fire Station. District number 2 for Wards 4 and 6 is at the Christopherly Ice Rink. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I just skipped over that. Wards 2, 4, and 6 is at Christopherly Ice Rink. District number 3, Wards 1, 3, 5, and 7 are at Elam Grace Church. And District number 4, Ward number 8, Town of Minetta, Ward 9, Town of Oswego. Residents only is at the Oswego Town Hall. We have a number of propositions on this year's ballot. The first proposition is, shall the Board of Education adopt a budget for the Oswego City School District in the amount of $103,332,823 for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2023. I'm not going to read all of these because they get rather lengthy, but proposition number 2 is to purchase transportation vehicles and to bond for them not to exceed $1.4 million. Proposition number 3 has been amended in a special meeting that the board had, adding language that would say that the voter authorization is not necessary to allow the project to go forward for an EPC, since such a project can be undertaken by the Board of Education acting on its own, but rather to allow the district to receive an extra 10% measure of building aid from the state of New York for such project going forward. So we are, and that is estimated at a maximum cost of $5 million. So with the energy performance contract, the board has approved the energy performance contract. And the voters, if they vote to approve the proposition number 3, the district will receive an additional 10% in our state aid. So that's a win-win. Proposition number 4 is the bond resolution for the energy performance contract, saying that we would bond for $5 million. Proposition number 5 is for the voters to approve a new reserve that the district did not have prior. When we had Rick Timms in, who did a study previously, he had noted that we did not have a technology and equipment reserve, nor did we have a bus reserve fund. And with propositions number 5 and number 6, these two propositions would establish those reserves. The technology and equipment reserve would not exceed $3 million, and the bus reserve would not exceed $5 million. The life expectancy of both reserves are 10 years. So if we fully fund them in 1 year or multiple years from the date that they're approved, we have 10 years in which to utilize the funding from those reserves. And proposition number 7 is for the Oswego City Public Library, so that they can levy and collect an annual tax separate and apart from the annual school district budget in the amount of $1,416,208, which is an increase from their previous budget of $27,769 for the support and maintenance of the library. So those are all of the propositions that will be on the board. And then you will also have to vote for the board candidates.
Anyone have questions? Okay. Thank you both for the explanations. Next up, we have our consent agenda, which consists of the Special Education Board Report of April 4th, the May 16th Board of Registration, the minutes of our emergency board meeting from March 30th, our May 16th annual budget vote and election poll workers and machine operators, minutes of the regular board meeting from March 21st, revisions to the impartial hearing officer rotational list, and the change order report. There a motion on the consent agenda? Oh. Sorry, I pulled this up last night, and I'm guessing it's a different, okay, and H, videographer for BOE meetings.
I'll move A through H.
Second it.
Okay, any discussion? Just double checking to make sure that everything else stayed the same. I think it did. Okay, sorry about that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next up, curriculum.
Good evening, everyone. For your approval, letter A, National Association for Music Education Eastern Division Mixed Chorus Trip.
Okay, is there a motion on A?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
And second?
Okay, any discussion?
Just congratulations. That's a huge achievement.
Yeah, so we have a student going to nationals, essentially, for chorus, which is wonderful. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We should probably double check with the family and see if they want, because it's an administrative, I don't want to, but just make sure that they're okay with like publicizing it. Right. Okay, personnel. Bob.
And good evening, everyone. Under item A, we have 2 support staff retirements. I'd like to read them both. The first is Joan Goodrow at Kingsford Park. She has served in the district as a food service helper and a teacher aide since September 4th, 1996. And our second support staff retirement is Janine Regan in the food service office, and she has been an account clerk typist since November 7th, 2007. So item A as presented.
Is there a motion for A?
I'll move it.
Dave, second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Pam. Any discussion?
Just huge congratulations to both these ladies. I had the pleasure of working with both of them, and it's a well-earned and deserved retirement. Enjoy, girls. You both will be greatly missed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, our next grouping is items B through I, and they are administrative, professional, and support staff recommendations as presented.
Okay, is there a motion for B through I?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. Second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and our last grouping is items J through M, which are substitutes, temporary employees, extra compensatory positions, and extracurricular volunteers as presented.
Okay, is there a motion for J through M?
Move it.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Bob. Finance, you were ready.
Items A through C are contracts as presented.
Is there a motion for A through C?
Move it.
Thank you, Pam. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
D is a donation as presented.
Is there a motion for D?
Move it.
And second?
Second.
We'll get whoever. I heard them both at the same time. I don't know who Diane wrote it. Dave, okay. Sorry, Tom. Any discussion?
As always, our huge thank you to the folks out there at XLM for their continued support of the district and the school. It's greatly appreciated.
Yes.
E is a budget amendment for 9,000.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Yep,
sorry, I thought we were there.
Yep. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We just had to vote to accept the money.
My apologies. E is a budget amendment in the amount of $9,548.82 to increase the budget for insurance proceeds we received.
Is there a motion for E?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. A second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? I guess I would just say, so we always, whenever we receive anything, we have to, our revenues have to exceed or have to meet our expenses, so we have to increase.
That is one of the things that we can increase our budget for, and one of them is insurance proceeds.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Items F through H are budget transfers as presented.
Is there a motion for F through H?
Move it.
And a second? Okay, thank you, Pam and Dave. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, Nancy.
I is for the board to appoint Michelle Knoop as deputy treasurer for the remainder of the 22-23 school year. And that should, I apologize, that should be effective April the 24th. That did not get changed, as presented.
Okay. Is there a motion to appoint a deputy treasurer effective April 24th?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
6 is for the transfer for collection of taxes from, to the county chamberlain, or city chamberlain, as presented.
Okay, is there a motion for J, right, yes? Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And K is an agreement with Tyler Technologies for software for our buses.
Is there a motion for K?
Make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I think, Maura could not make it this evening. Are there any items from the board?
As always, a couple of shout outs. I got to attend the Kingsford Park Elementary Family STEAM Night. It was their first STEAM night, from what I keep reading in the paper. What fun. It was a blast. Those kids had a great time, and I'm sure all of our buildings are planning very similar events. I've seen it on the calendar, so kudos, because that was really neat to see. The kids really had a blast. STEAM's the way we're going. And same night, I bopped right on over to Riley Elementary and caught their musical, and oh my gosh, Lisa, we got musicals coming to the high school for years and years and years, because those kids, they're talented right there in the elementary schools, and they're carrying our theater department right along for years. So kudos to both of those school buildings, the faculty, the staff, the community members that helped with that STEAM night, the faculty, the staff, the students that helped them at Riley to put on that performance. Can we give them all a round of applause? Always. Everybody who works in this district is, I thank you, and you're greatly appreciated for coming in and helping out our students to succeed, get the education they need, and turn out to be upright citizens. Thank you all.
Okay, any other items from the board? Yeah. Sean?
I brought this up in the past about the proper dedication of buildings, facilities, fields in the district. Today is the 5th anniversary of Michelle Wink's passing, and I'd like to see us put a plan in place to dedicate locations for people that have gone above and beyond their normal daily jobs, and Michelle defined that. I don't know if that falls on the facilities committee, but if a new group is needed, I'd be on it, and if a new group is needed, I'd chair it. I don't think we've ever properly resolved the Wilbur Field issue. I think something should be named, whether it's the training room or the athletic room, the weight room for Michelle. And the upcoming softball field, I feel, needs to be named for a Hall of Fame coach and former teacher. But I think we should start looking to get places dedicated for people that deserve it.
Okay. I think the policy committee started some of that, but we'll pick it back up again. Any other items from the board?
Yeah, I just want to say, I was with Pam. I just want to second what she said relative to STEAM over at Kingsford that night. It was very impressive all the way around, but it's okay. Oh, there.
Sorry, dinner break for the theater.
I was wondering. And so I'm glad that we increased our STEAM in our budget, that we doubled that. I think it's really important. And I think if people have the opportunity, local people as well, to go to that event and see, I was very proud of how well they reached out in the community to organizations, to the college, to different groups, and brought them in. It was very inspiring, very engaging, and then just to walk through the halls and feel what was happening in that school. So I thought it was great, and I just wanted to second that along with Pam.
All right. Any other? Jim?
Yeah, so students are picking classes. And one of the things that the last board did was to make dual enrollment classes and AP classes free of charge for students. So I don't know how many students know it. I know our administrators in the high school, middle school are pushing that out and telling it. But I just think this is a good opportunity to talk about our academics and all of the great things that we do offer. I know that we're up big this year. The final numbers will come in after all the AP exams are taken. You know, some students would take an AP class in the past but not take the test for various reasons, but now money is not one of them. So as students are currently thinking about their schedules for next fall, right? I know they've made them, they're looking at them, guidance counselors are working with them. I just like to put that out there, that we are going to offer that. We put it in the budget again for next year. And so we're talking about being able to help those students that wouldn't necessarily think of taking college-level classes because of, for whatever reason, again, money is not the reason now. So, thank you.
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, thank you. And just to piggyback on that, I know there were kids that have taken those classes a couple years back now, but they went into college with enough credit hours. They were actually a sophomore already when they walked in their first day of college. So it's a great opportunity, and it's no charge now. Thanks again for that reminder, Jim.
Okay, so I believe we have a need for an executive session tonight for a purpose of a contractual, I'm sorry, I don't have the exact language, a contractual issue. What was that?
That's great.
Okay. Is there a motion to move to executive?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. It's 5:46. Second?
I'll second it.
Or any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Pam. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.